Hello guys, this is Donald's Movies and welcome to the 8th episode of the Versus series. In this one, I will be discussing a possible battle scenario between the two major forces, the Burning Legion and the Old Gods. So, with all the current information that we have, let's see who would win in a battle.
What is this legion?
It is a vast, demonic army that has consumed countless worlds beyond our own. Now it comes to set this world to the flame. Our master was created to pave the way for its arrival. The Dreadlords were sent to make sure that he succeeded.
Sargeras, once a protector of the Titan Order, he had one goal: to rid the universe of all evil. He was the most powerful of the Titans and he had fought countless malevolent races. His powers were great, and even though he managed to easily defeat them, Sargeras' mind was affected. The more he fought, the deeper he went, realizing that there is no end to evil and that the Titans are delusional to think there is. In time, he had gone completely mad, leaving the Titan Order and shattering the prison of all demons he had previously captured, creating an army called the Burning Legion. The mission of the Burning Legion was to undo all of the Titan work and reshape the universe. For thousands of years they have invaded and utterly destroyed worlds, enslaving its inhabitants in the process. The exact number of the worlds consumed is still unclear, but judging by the amount of evil they have amassed means that it is a good deal. Our first contact with the Burning Legion was 10,000 years ago. The Burning Legion was attracted to the world due to the reckless magics taking place. This was the Well of Eternity, once created by the Titans. Sargeras recognized the origin of this power and was consumed by insatiable hunger, bent on claiming Azeroth for himself. A battle of epic proportions ensued as the forces of Azeroth battled the endless Burning Legion forces. Meanwhile, the Highborn tried to summon Sargeras himself through the Well of Eternity. The result was fatal for both sides. The Well of Eternity was destroyed, sundering the entire continent of Kalimdor, while the Burning Legion was defeated and Sargeras' physical form was caught in the portal and destroyed.
I will not be torn from this pitiful world! No! No!
For the next 10,000 years, the Burning Legion has been plotting and waiting for a moment to invade Azeroth once again. Not taking any chances this time, they orchestrated the first Orc invasions and then the Scourge invasion, which would weaken the forces of Azeroth and prepare it for the Burning Legion. However, once again the Burning Legion was defeated, this time at the cost of the World Tree, as the forces of Azeroth banded together. Ever since then, in the absence of Sargeras, Kil'jaeden has taken control of the Legion, organizing many smaller campaigns on Outland and even trying to summon himself by manipulating Kel'Thas Sunstrider. Most of the attempts so far have failed, and many small bastions of Legion power remain throughout Azeroth, but recently, with the new expansion, the Legion is returning. Their main goal is to summon Sargeras into the world once more and to finally destroy Azeroth once and for all in the biggest invasion yet.
He won't stop talking about this presence he felt, permeating the great halls, stirring in their minds, chilling their blood. He said, the horror that the Titans imprisoned so long ago, Yogg-Saron has awakened.
The Old Gods are malicious beings that once ruled over Azeroth. Their origin is still a mystery, but it is presumed that they are all over the universe. By one of the theories, it is said that they were already on Azeroth when the Titans arrived. The Old Gods enslaved the elementals who roamed freely through the world and used them as their pawns. Their goal was to warp the entire universe and cause chaos, their natural state. Even though they were together, we have records that the Old Gods actually waged wars against each other. Meanwhile, the Titans, on their quest to bring order, stumbled onto the world of Azeroth. Once they examined and realized what kind of evil the Old Gods actually are, they immediately initiated in a war. Due to their eternal conflicts, the Titans barely managed to overpower them. At first, Yasharaj, one of the old gods, was slain and the entire zone of Pandaria was infested because of that. The Titans realized that the old gods are rooted deeply into the world and that it would be impossible to kill them without destroying the world itself. Because of this, Yogg-Saron and Enzot were imprisoned, while Khatoon managed to feign death. The exact number of the old gods on the world of Azeroth is uncertain, but there could possibly be more prisons throughout the world. Even though imprisoned, that didn't really stop the old gods from controlling the world to some extent. They were responsible for the curse of flesh that weakened the Titan creations. They were also responsible for corrupting the dragon aspect Neltharion, turning him into Deathwing, who played a vital role in the War of the Ancients and the recent history. The old gods created the Emerald Nightmare as well and manipulated time in an attempt to free themselves from their prisons. Apart from just that, Yogg-Saron almost managed to free himself by manipulating the Titanic Watchers in Uldar, which almost led to the destruction of Azeroth. On the other side, Khatoon sought to corrupt the Titan complex in Silithus, which led to the War of the Shifting Sands and also the recent events of Ankiraj. So, if the Burning Legion and the old gods clashed in a battle, who would win? The Burning Legion is an army of almost countless demons from all over the universe. The Legion, just like the Scourge, gathers more forces the more it conquers, constantly adding up to their numbers. They are led by Sargeras, who was once the strongest Titan and presumably even more powerful when he defected and became the Dark Titan. From his powers, we know that he can constantly reform his minions, so even in defeat, the numbers of the Burning Legion don't really take a hit. Some demons are even confirmed to reform themselves in the Twisting Nether, meaning that they can come back at any time. Next to that, we also know that he's invulnerable to a wide range of magics and weapons, with the Axe of Cenarius only barely grazing him. Just like his servant Kil'jaeden, he also has the ability to change forms, alter his height and create illusions to a much greater extent. So the Legion, filled with extremely powerful Dark Titan and countless demon races, is very strong, but their biggest weakness are the portals. They can't really get into a world in their full numbers and it takes a great deal of energy to actually summon them, mainly depending on their power levels. So, for example, summoning just Sargeras took most of the power through the Well of Eternity, and it would be a really big problem to get all of the Burning Legion in one place. On the other side, we have the old gods. Their forces are numerous and they also have many enslaved races in their order. So far, we know that the Faceless Ones and the Merciless Ones are the main races of the old gods and that they have been following them for a really long time. They're either spawned by the old gods themselves or are enslaved from another planet, so their exact origin isn't really known. The main weapon of the old gods is their mind. They're capable of great manipulation and have manipulated many powerful races and also creatures in the past, such as the dragon aspect Deathwing, and that is just from a prisoned and weakened form. In their full form, they're much stronger, and it is said that if they were united, the Titans could have never managed to actually defeat them. During the War of the Ancients, they actually planned to use Sargeras as means of escape, and to add to that, even Krasus himself said that the old gods out of prison would make even Sargeras plead for mercy. Now, whether this is true or not, we don't really know, but basing this one on the fact that the Titans barely managed to defeat him could mean that it is actually true. So if there was a battle between the Burning Legion and the Old Gods, as the end result, I would say that the Old Gods would win. Now this is mainly basing it on the fact that the Old Gods are united, which they are united right now as their main goal is to become free. But if a giant force of the Burning Legion led by Sargeras himself fought a single Old God like Yogg-Saron, I think that the Burning Legion would triumph. In a battle scenario, the Legion would most likely have the field combat advantage, but since the old gods have strong manipulation powers, they could possibly infiltrate the Burning Legion commanders and possibly even Sargeras himself. Alright, that is all I have for this versus video. Now, do leave your thoughts on who you think would win and why, and also suggestions for future versus video combinations. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel and keeps all the videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.